Hey guys, welcome back to Maxplained Dawn of War Unification. Yes, it has been a while, but here I am back with another faction guide for you, this time for the Night Lords. The Night Lords are the Batman fans, you could say, and in the Warhammer franchise they really like Batman, but not the superhero Batman, but rather the villain version of Batman. So they fight nasty out of the shadows with stuff that drives fear in the opponents and stuff like that. Yeah, they are very mobile in a sense, so you could compare them a bit to, let's say, Raven Guard, but not completely. So they're also prioritizing stealth and mobility. So in that sense they are similar, but they have a whole lot stuff different. What exactly we will see now in the save game I have prepared. And here we are in the save game. Before we jump into the buildings and units and stuff, we always quickly talk about resources and unit caps. And yeah, for the Night Lords it's very quick. They have the standard resource, the standard unit caps. They have requisition and power. You get requisition from points and listening posts and from your HQ, of course, and power from power generators. They also get the usual upgrades. So yeah, nothing special on resource wise. Also, the unit caps are also the standard 10-0 at the start to the maximum of 2020. You have 2 infantry pop upgrades and 4 vehicle pop upgrades. You get some vehicle pop from your Forge of Terror, which is your vehicle production building, as well as your Titan production building over here. And you get also some more infantry pop from sergeants from the squads. Not sure if all, but most give you also some infantry pop. So that's that out of the way, so we can now jump over to the buildings. The buildings you see here, I've brought you all the HQ, so you see the HQ and the tiers get different visuals, which is always nice to have. Yeah, the HQ is does the HQ things, having like the builder. It has also the pop upgrades and 2 capping units. We will talk later what they have different to another. And one special thing is that they have the terror bombing run from tier 2 onwards, which is more or less global. We can see the range is global actually. Wasn't sure if it was global, but it's global. Costs some resources and does a bit of damage, heat damage to unprotected troops. So it's more infantry damage, but most importantly, it does a hell of a lot of morale damage. So you can use this to have. Sorry, my voice. You get a little indicator so the opponent can react, and then you get in this terror bombing run, which does, as I said, as it describes, some flame damage, but also morale damage mostly. You see the HQ have a shared cooldown, so this is you cannot spam HQs and spam the ability. So this is your HQ. We jump now over to your Storm Barracks, which is your primary production building for infantry. Nothing special here. You get your 2 commander options in tier 1 and tier 2, and then a lot of different infantry options. You have the Black Sanity, which is your barracks, not your barracks, your armory kind of building. I will tell you later, but already can tell you that here that you get a lot of tankiness upgrades for the units over here. You get like the Bionics in 2, and then have also a kind of not as much HP, but also some HP version of Purge the Weak, which is normally the chaos thingy. So you will notice all around it the Night Lords have a mixture of stuff or ideas from Space Marines and Chaos mixed together at some point. Your tier 2 buildings are the Forge of Terror, which is a vehicle production building as the usual, and then the Vault of Fear, which is your commander production building, similar to a sacred artifact over here. Having also, I have already researched all of them, but a hell of a lot of different upgrades for your commanders in terms of abilities for them, but also for your Demon Prince equivalent. Not sure if it's an actual Demon Prince, but yeah. In tier 3 you get the Eclipse Portal, which is similar to Orbital Relay / it's a Demon Pit, I think it's called. So you get some standard troops to Deep Strike, but also your Terminator / Obliterator variants, as well as your Demon Prince Ascension and some teleporters. In this special upgrades, the Seeds of Terror in tier 4, we will talk later when we talk about the units. Lastly, we have the Shadow Dome, which is your Titan and super heavy production facility later on, very late in the tech tree, you could say. I like the model actually with the gens and everything, like it comes out of the warp powered by some gens here. Economy wise, you have your thermoplasma generator and your normal plasma generator, nothing special here. You have your listening posts. The one thing I think is different to standard is that they have this dual autocannon instead of an what is it normally, a the Gatling gun, what is it called? Does it have the, give me a second, I will find out. No, it doesn't have it here. It's I think normally it is one of the cannons that shoots a lot of bullets. What is it called again? Man, I'm missing words today, sorry about that, but it gets autocannons as an LP3. Speaking of autocannons, they also have an autocannon turret as the base turret, which has quite a large range and does also some mild, some good damage against lower vehicles and buildings. And can then upgrade it to a melter turret, which a bit of shorter range but more specialized damage in terms of anti-vehicle. Lastly, you also have some minefields, which are your standard minefields. So this is all your different buildings out of the way, and before we jump into the different units and stuff, we have one concept that makes Night Lords special. They utilize cover in a different way than other factions. All infantry, apart from the builder, does infiltrate once they are in cover. You see it here. They get out again and then they are visible again. So you have a distinct advantage on maps with a lot of cover and cannot use this ability at all on maps without cover. There are a fair share of maps that do not have any cover, and there are some maps that have cover in some peculiar places where you can jump from one cover to the next and even shoot listening posts and building from there. So this feature can be absolutely amazing and can be absolutely useless depending on what faction you play against, also which have easy access to infiltration detection and what map you play on. Later on, if you have one upgrade from your vehicle production building, it is the Nightfall protocol upgrade. Most of the vehicles get an ability to get infiltrated, but the Rhino then also gets this ability to... wasn't it infiltrated in cover? Huh, I thought it get infiltrated in the cover. Huh, I guess it isn't. Or this is a problem with like having a save game open, because I could have sworn that it was like that. But yeah, I will, if Nightfall protocol upgrade is complete, Rhino turns to become stealth within cover. So this is because this is a save game. When you actually play it without saving and loading, the Rhino will be infiltrated. So this is a save game issue here. So yeah, that is that. And now we can actually jump to the actual units over here. We start as usual with the builder, which is the Dark Magos, which is more or less a servitor over here. Does build stuff, repair stuff, is relatively quick on his feet, and yeah, that's pretty much about him. I think he's the one and only infantry kind of unit that is not infiltrated, because he's not sentient. I think servitors are like constructs, no? I'm not sure, but he does not infiltrate. And yeah, now we jump over to the commanders. Your first commander you have is the captain. Not brother captain, just the captain over here, and the captain, really nice special things. I'm not sure if he starts out of it or if it's because of the upgrades. He is more or less like a Chaos Lord, but with jetpacks, has a little less HP, but also has the slow still on his sword, so he can jump in, slow a unit, and can disengage whenever he really wants to. So this is that. He also gets a passive damage increasing aura. This is also the standard, I think it's Icon of Chaos, it's called for Chaos Marines. This is more or less similar, these blue outlines over here, and gets various abilities. He starts with an ability, Night Vision, which gives him temporary detection around him. If you see this, then he has detection, is timed, so this is your more or less the way you detect in tier 1, There's also another unit that can detect in tier 1, but this is also a way. And later down the line he can get 2 different abilities. In tier 2 you get We Come For You, which is basically a demoralizing shout, different named. And in tier 3 you can get Shadow of Nostros, which which is an AoE infiltration ability around him, which also works on buildings. You could think of it similar to like what Foresight Enclaves have with Commander Shivastos. And overall is a pretty good combatant all around the game, can also attach. One note over here, the attachment and detachment system for Raven Guard and Night Lords are different. In Raven Guard the commanders can only attach to squads with jetpacks. Here they can attach to squads without jetpack, but they lose their jumping ability. This is because they also have some commanders that do not have jetpacks. One of them is the Dream Eater, the Sorcerer equivalent, available in tier 2, detects, has a short range jump as well, teleport, and has some abilities over here. They are all different. They were made actually different for this version, so this is one of the reasons why I have delayed the guide. First you have Shatter Their Will, which is a psychic assault, which disables their abilities to shoot and drastically reducing their morale recovery. So this basically a disable and morale damage. In tier 2, he is tier 2, but the first upgrade you can get is Devoured Dreams. This is nice. It puts a unit to the warp. I haven't used it myself, but I think it's similar to how the legionaries for Legion of the Damned are out of existence for a short while. And then they come back and they can be hurt or killed, but he gets HP regeneration. So this is a self-heal, but you need the enemy squad for it. And lastly you have the Nightmare Grip, which is similar to one of the, I think, we also have this for Eldred, where you grip a unit and let it float and then throw it around. Very useful ability. In the 2 you also have Sahal the Talon Master, melee commander, melee only, you can see here. Also shares the Night Vision ability, can also be attached to a squad, is very mobile with this jetpack, as you can see here. No range capabilities, but I think, yeah, you can see what he excels at. And then he has also the tier Bloody Chunks. Cruise initiative afterworld effects. Cruise and act initiative inspires terror to all nearby enemies, so that gets feared. Gets morale damage on an enemy, followed by a mild secondary damage afterwards. So this is a AoE damage ability. So he throws some meat at the opponent, and then they have this first, the impact gives morale damage, and all around here gives some mild damage around it. So it's yeah, an interesting ability, I have to say, something we haven't seen in that specific order. Then we have Mardrin Lanshai. I think this is a tier 3 guy. Also can be attached to stuff. Melee combatant. Trigger his madness, providing damage resistance to but loss of control. He also gets like the loss of control. I'm not sure if I have this in my Techtrees. So he gets Berserk into melee, and he also have the Interrogate. Information from the enemy. So his intelligence picture is momentarily increased. Enemies, including hidden ones, can be revealed. Any squad attached to murder during the spirit gains increased morale rate. So this is also kind of a detection. Okay, not sure why you can target it on the ground. So not sure about it. And last but not least, we have Decimus, the Prophet, which is like on, I have read, he's like the reincarnated, what is it called? Reincarnated Talos Valkyron. So for your lore guys, this is what he does. He has a lot of different abilities. One of them is that there's an aura around him. Give me a second. With his presence, all infantry globally gain slight ability reduction. So I think what this is meant, the ability cooldown is reduced a bit. And then he has various cool abilities. One is the premonition, can predict the future. Increase the effectiveness. This uses the ability to foresee future and guides all squads in the vicinity, increasing their attack speed and accuracy period of time. Once this is activated, he cannot move. So I will not use it yet, but later. Then he has the crippling strike. Is a target ability on an enemy squad, which does reduce. The foe does reduce damage and takes more damage for a short period of time. So it's more how should I say, a mark ability, but also decreasing the damage they deal. And then he has the explosive jail ability, which is exactly what you mean. You put some jail over here, and then you can left click to detonate it. It's infiltrated, it will not detonate by itself, so you have to click it manually. And lastly, he can summon a vision of himself, which is infiltrated, can move, but he cannot move. And the most important thing is you can move with this, like, it also has the crippling strike it has, and it can also move like into the position and then use the precognition ability to get buffs for units around, you see. Like, so he can stay out of harm's way, not that he really needs it that much, and then can use his little save here using this ability. But yeah, he cannot move while this other ability is active over here. Okay, so this is the Decimus. This is a tier 4 commander, which also requires a relic, so your tier 4 relic commander is that. From commanders we now jump to infantry, and then also after that to the few demon units you have. I will get around a bit depending on the tiers, so it makes more sense. Maybe we quickly talk about the demons first, because it makes more sense, and then to the infantry. There's here Krieg Azerbus, the X-Master, which is more or less a demon prince, summoned from the captain, but you will notice that you also can have a captain while having the demon prince, the Greek Archarbus, available. So this is not an oversight, this is by design. He shares the damage increase aura you get from your captain, also has the night vision ability, but also has 2 more abilities. We come for you. Units take heavy morale damage as a curse results them. Terrifying battle cry. Wow, similar to other demon princes. And then you have Curse's Orb, a magical orb wielded by the demon prince. This is a powerful object. Lowers the use, gives demon prince a chance to void all incoming damage. So this is a buff ability for him. And you also notice that he's infiltrated. This is an upgrade. He does not start infiltrated, but there's an upgrade you can get which makes him permanently infiltrated, which is kind of handy. And there's also another upgrade which increases his damage output. So there are a total of 3 upgrades for the demon prince, which I really like. So they are more or less reliant to have him in tier 3 to be, yeah, absolutely beast. Okay, now from a big demon to a smaller demon. These are your Furies over here. Furies are one of your first capping units in tier 1, come out from your HQ. They detect, so this is your second way to detect in tier 1. They are very fast, and they have also the passives on attack, like the various stuff they can get in melee, like thunder armor, morale damage, like that. There are some of these passive they can get from attacking, like randomly, similar to what they do in the Chaos Demons. And what is special about them, they give bonuses when they die. The whole idea is that the Night Lords do not like really demons, so they kind of laughing at them and feel better when some demons die around them. Has a decency to quickly scuttle away. When a Night Lord witnesses a Fury die, they get a morale boost. You see it here. So like, haha. And I think this is tier 2. You get the Torture Fury ability. They will they get some bonuses for their speed and everything, but lose health. Also goes in the same theme that they really like to, or do not like the demons, so they kind of torture them to get more stuff using. So the ability lasts for quite a while, but you can see the damage it does is about half their health. So this is very very high damage on them. Okay, from here we now really jump to the infantry, and we start with the other cavalry units to start with, which is the Raptor Scout Claw. Many players consider this the best capture units you can have. They only start with 2 models, are relatively expensive for that, but they are worth every penny because they trade relatively good with other capping units in their tier. They are very fast. You can get them, depending on the map, at the enemy base because of their jump ability, like 20 seconds, 25 seconds. They are at the enemy base, so you can start harass enemy cappers and builder units like absolutely fast. They scale pretty well in tier 2. They only have like 3 models and they are sergeant in tier 1, but can get 2 more models in tier 2. They have a sergeant, as I said. The sergeant requires the barracks and the armory, so you cannot get him as quickly. And yeah, they have, the sergeant gets plasma pistols and also some thoughts over here. They have the swift strike ability. There are like 2 abilities you get from the commanders, the swift strike and the other is the blind panic. You will see this all around, like the Raptor kind of variants get this swift strike, which increases their movement speed and doubles their morale. Melee charge range increases attack speed, movement speed and accuracy. So very good, like if you're in combat and want to deal some more damage. In tier 3 they got also the Trapper's Net, which is a snare ability basically. Minor damage and yeah, a snare ability. They get also a special upgrade in tier 2, which requires a power sword upgrade, which increases the chain sword damage from all of them. So they get really good in tier 2. So that's why they are also pretty considered very good. Then you have over here your Terror Claws, which is your Chaos Marine kind of unit. They more or less function the same, but as I said, all the different infantry units can infiltrate and cover, so they are very good used in maps where you have cover, then from which you can shoot enemy buildings and stuff. They can get a flamer in tier 1, but also the Terror Sergeant, which can also, you see here, lightning claws and the sergeant upgrades. In tier 2 you can get plasma guns and melter guns. So the plasma guns and melter guns are not locked behind tier 3 as for Chaos Marines, but more for like Space Marines. They can get a Nightmare Grenade, which is kind of similar to the grenade the Dark Elder have, like choosing vision and stuff, but also has some knockback to it. And they have this Blind Panic, which is also a targeted ability to enemy squad, which makes them take morale damage and loses the ability to detect hidden stuff. So this is very strong. What makes this not as strong, that it has a shared cooldown all amongst the squad, so you cannot have like blind a whole army around you, so you need to pick and choose basically. I think that's about them. And the other unit you can get in tier 1 is Raptors. The Raptors are also more or less your standard Raptors. They are a bit better than your normal Raptors in the sense that you can have more different weapon options and also get melter bombs. So yeah, you get a sergeant, you get flamers in tier 1, in tier 2 you can get all the assortment over here except the power fists, plasma guns, melter guns, but also power swords, power weapons it's called, not swords necessarily. And then in tier 3 you can also get power fists to them. What makes them so good is, of course, that they get melter bombs and they can also swift strike. So they are a very versatile unit, can be very strong indeed. In tier 2 you get access to 2 more squads, which is your Havoc Claw. More or less your standard Havocs, but lower model count. And what is special about them is that they have higher range on their weaponry than standard Havocs. For the downside, a little less damage. Why is that? That is so they can use the cover bonus better basically. They can hide in cover and shoot far away stuff. So this is the idea why this is done in difference to other units, Havoc kind of units. So they can make use of the cover mechanic better, you could say. So the cover is stationary, but they can use it to shoot far away stuff. They can get autocannons, missile launchers in tier 2, and in tier 3 less cannons. Also get these nightmare grenades and blind panic, like all, let's say, normal ranged squads over here. Then a very nice unit I like myself a lot is the Night Sisters over here. Yeah, you can see them, they are kind of battle sisters, but a little more bad flavored. They get flamers and melter guns, so can be good against infantry and vehicles and buildings and stuff. Get their little superior, no, Night Sisters champion over here. Really digging her model over here, standing here. Can get some Nightmare Grenades and Blind Panic. And what is special about them is that you would say, yeah, what's different to, let's say, the Terror Claws? They shoot morale damaging rounds. I think it states over here, all Night Sisters armed with blackout rounds, which disorientates targets, increasing overall morale damage output, and each shot has a small change to disable detection. So this is like a really nice support kind of role to them. This is why they also cost some power, but they're like a little cheaper in the requisition, but higher on the power cost, a little more squishy, but have this kind of support kind of role, which I like. Do require the World of Fear, however. This is your tier 2 units, and in tier 3 we have various units. Right away in tier 3, without an additional building, you have here your last shade of your last shade of raptors. This is your warp claw, like your warp talons. You see they have these two lightning claws, one at each hand. They also get melter bombs and the swift strike ability from their sergeant. I mean, the melter bombs they have right away, but the swift strike is from their sergeant. They can be deep strike from your barracks and are in general very good in melee. Relatively quick as well, so you can have very good melee capabilities and very quick in that. The other unit you have here is Possessed Marines. So Possessed Marines are also melee orientated, are not jumping but quick on their feet. Have, like, I think they are flame breath enabled by default, so you do not need to research that, and you get a Possessed Sergeant. I'm not sure if it has some special abilities. They have also this thing, if they die, that units, other infantry around them get a morale boost, and they can also be tortured. So they can be very quick on their feet, dealing some damage to them, but they can sustain the damage a bit better as they do have a lot more HP, you can see. Not sure, is always this percentage based? Quickly checking. This is percentage based, this is kind of madness. It is not, but every model takes the damage. If you have your Eclipse portal, you get your 2 more units. You have your Atramentar squads, which are also melee only. You can see it with the lightning claws, but their Trucidor, their kind of sergeant, has a power sword here, black sword, but also the Volkite cannon, which is nice. It also gives Demon Sword causes massive demoralization to all its strikes. So in melee he does some increased morale damage, also gets the Blind Panic, and if you research it's a teleport ability. The other unit you have access to are Obliterator Claws. These are, as you kind of know your Obliterators, I like the flavor of them having still their helmets on, so they're a little still more Space Marine-y. So it is, I think it's because also the Night Lords do not like demons, so they are not as demonized as the other ones. And you see on their weapons they have some special weapons. They do not have like other Obliterator rounds, like the Flamer, this like Gatling cannon thingy, and the Last Cannon. They have a cryo gun, a Graph cannon, and autocannon, I think it is, or it could be also Last Cannon. Could be rather Last Cannon. So the Last Cannon they have in common, but like the cryo cannon and the Graph cannon, they have differently. So very nice weaponry on them. I really like to field them as soon as I'm tier 3. Yeah, because I really like the weapons they start with. There's like 2 more things I want to tell you. Some upgrades that impact the some more than 1 unit over here. One of which is a thing you can get in tier 2. I think it's in tier 2 or tier 3. I need to check. We will see it on the tech tree later on, which is called Silent Running Jets, which makes all Raptor variants, like your Raptor Scouts, your Raptors, and your Warp Claws, permanently infiltrated. So they do not need any cover for that. So this is very handy, to say the least. So they have, permanently infiltrated Raptors. And the last one is a tier 4 upgrade you get from Eclipse portal over here, Seeds of Terror. If you upgrade this upgrades the abilities Swift Strike and Blind Panic to have like two better abilities. Let's check it out. Instead of Swift Strike, it's called a Sadistic Assault. Doubles the bonuses of Swift Strike with further increased melee charge, movement speed, attack speed, and accuracy. So basically, yeah, they are just a lot more better. When in close combat, raptors take joy in hearing their target scream in fear, fright, and other flash thunder power, increasing their ability to regenerate health and morale. So very, very nice for the melee squads. And for the range squads, the Blind Panic turns into Nightmare Pandemonium. Target squad lose the ability to detect infiltrated units, lose the ability to jump, teleport, reduces movement speed, and take heavy morale damage. Some members, that's the kicker, I really want to see that at some point. Some members of the targeted squad is more susceptible to fear than others. A random squad member will explode upon death with a blood-curdling scream overwhelming by panic, damaging others in their radius. So this is nice. I really want to see that at some point, like a unit that explodes and does a hell of a lot of damage around them. I liked it. This is kind of like the Stinger ability from the Dark Elder, which also is kind of nuts if you ask me. Okay, so this is your infantry, and now we jump over to the vehicles. I have to split it a bit like to your kind of normal and your very late game kind of units. So we start off with your tier 2 kind of units, which is your Rhino. The Rhino does Rhino things, transport stuff, gets, as I said, later down the tech tree, also ability to infiltrating cover, which we have not here in this safe game. And they have special smoke launchers. They have not normal gas launchers, smoke launchers. They have fear gas launchers. Unlike other legions, the Nightfall prefers to throw grenades contained opponent possessed the truck. Night Lords gain defensive bonuses within the gas, so yeah, they are immune. Enhance their predator senses. Meanwhile, enemy infantry who caught inside the cloud will suffer heavy morale damage, reduce weapon accuracy and stuff. So you can use this defensively and offensively, or in a mixture of things. So this is kind of nice.
We are the creeping shadows.
We are the sleeping shadows. And here's the Razorback, also available in tier 2. Has like I think the Multimelter and Heavy Flamer in tier 2 available. Can also use the fear launchers, can transport stuff, but I think only half. The initial heavy boulders cause minor suppression. That is something I didn't know. Nice to know. And in tier 3 you can get the twin-linked glass cannon on it. Also has the fear gas launchers, but also the Nightfall protocol. The Nightfall protocol is an upgrade in tier 3 from your Forge of Terror, and got also enhanced by the little thing we have here. So it's not the Nightfall protocol, but the Nightfall protocol 2.0, which makes the unit not just invisible, but also increases the damage output. So most vehicles can turn invisible with the upgrades, and later on with the other upgrades also get increased damage with it. In tier 2 you have also access to your Dreadnought, which starts with these chain saw thingies, chain hands right away, so melee specialized. Also gets fear gas launchers, which is nice for him. Not sure, does he also get the defensive bonuses as a walker? He does, very nice. Can also get autocannons right away, and in tier 3 can get like all these assaultments, I think. Multi-melter, twin-linked glass cannon, and plasma cannon. So he has then a lot of different weapon options. You also see the gas is purple. In tier 3 you get access to 2 more vehicles, which is your Predator over here. Predator, who has more or less the standard weapon loader, also gets access to the Nightfall protocol, and could also get access to the Blackout missiles if you has resources to the Nightfall protocol, and equipped in a Havoc launcher. So you can equip the Havoc launcher like separately from these weapons, and can then also get a twin glass cannon, a Volkite Demi Culverin cannon, which requires a relic and does have a hefty price, and a executioner. So you can get glass cannons or plasma cannons or Volkite, depending on the cost and availability. All these weapon upgrades require tier 4. You cannot get any of these weapon upgrades in tier 3 when it is available. Now it has this launcher, which has long range and can use these Blackout missiles. Quickly checking what they do again. Massively reduces detection radius for all infantry and vehicles within Stark Blast over here. So detection stuff again. Has now not a purple but a dark bluish, dark purplish thing over here. And as I said, also has access to the Nightfall protocols. Then they have the Vindicator over here. Does Vindicator things, short range artillery. Has a limit of 2. Also gets the Nightfall protocol and Figas launchers. Nothing special more about him. In tier 4 you get access to the Whirlwind. Does not share a cap with the Vindicator, but is limited to 1. Artillery, very long range. Very accurate, so more or less standard vehicle stuff. Gets also the Nightfall protocol and a Deviator missiles, a toggle ability. While they have no effect against vehicles or buildings, these missiles are very effective at demoralizing the enemy infantry. They inflict damage over time and cause hallucination, rendering the enemy unable to shoot back. So if you use this, this is best used against infantry, does no effect on vehicles, I think. So you can toggle them on and off. If you want to hit infantry, you want to toggle it, and if you want to shoot more or less normal stuff or buildings, you toggle it off. Your relic unit is your Land Raider Phobos. Over here, Land Raider Phobos is a Land Raider with a lot of las cannons. You can see here. Also gets the Figas launchers, can transport stuff, and has the Infernal Device. Makes the Land Raider resistant to damage for a short period of time. So this is also more your machine spirit kind of ability. Before we jump to the late game units, I will talk about the 2 aircrafts you have access to. These aircrafts are available in tier 2. You have the Hell Talon over here, which is more specialized against vehicles and buildings. Gets in tier 3 the Night Flash Smoke Bomb. Blind smoke clowns are blinded and get more vulnerable to attacks. This is not your like your acid bombs, but another gas kind of unit, gas, whatever you want to call it. But this makes the enemy have lower vision range and increased damage. And this storm barrage is, I think, enabled when you have Nightfall protocol, which gives them this storm barrage, effective against infantry and heavy infantry, deals heavy morale damage and knockdown. So in tier 3 with these upgrades here get also this cool ability. And then you have here the Hellblade, which is good against infantry and aircraft, so more or less about dogfights. And you see here it's only infiltrated while idle, and this is also enabled only by the Nightfall protocol. Without the Nightfall protocol in tier 3 you have a standard Hell Talon with a bit longer range and more better against aircraft and infantry. This is better against vehicles and buildings, so you can pick and choose. They share a cap of 5, however. Both available in tier 2, as I said. And here are your late game units. You have your super heavy unit, like your Kratos battle tank over here. Kind of looks like a Sikaran battle tank, but more Night Lord-ish. Has smoke, 4 gas launchers, can also use the stealth device. Invoking invulnerability, becomes infiltrated for a small duration. So, wow, this is interesting. And it can also summon Cyclops over here, which is, you kind of know from Steel Legion. You drive in, you click a button, and then it explodes. Then you can summon in the next one. So they can be summoned, have a cooldown, and then you can use again. You see the infiltration kind of lingers for quite a while, actually. That's interesting. Kind of interesting super heavy unit. And then your Titan units. You have the Dark Knight. A nice pun over here. Which is more or less a standard knight with, I think these are las cannons, missile launchers on the side, some like autocannon-y stuff here. Big chainsword. Can vary varying units like thermal cannons. These 4 weapons here, the thermal cannon, the last impulsor, Reaper chainsword, and the Avenger Gatling cannon is available right away, while the Volkite is requiring the tier 2 Titan research, I think. I'm pretty sure about that. Your tier 2 Titan is the Dark Reaver over here, has this kind of, what is this actually, a flamer I think, and this hand over here, also big missiles on the top. Has this Battle Titan ability, which makes him knock down units around him, and can upgrade the sides with either a Gatling blaster on the left arm, on this, or a laser blaster on his right arm. So you have a Gatling and a laser blaster weapon options for it. It also has this iron shield here, which gives him some damage protection as long as the morale bar is over here, which has this Dark Knight knot, which doesn't have the Dark Knight, is the right way to say it. Okay, so this is all the units and buildings and stuff talked about. We now jump into the tech tree, where we look about some tech requirements around the board, as well as the tier strengths and stuff like that. So see you in a second. And here we are on the tech tree document. As usual, you can find all these tech trees as PDFs in my Google Drive. As usual, I want to talk about some tech requirements that I wasn't as sure in the video. One thing I wanted to check. Oh, I see. I have this one will be fixed over here. This is an upgrade. This is the Nightfall protocol, which is tier 3. This is the orb ability for your Demon Prince, so which also requires a research. And what was unsure? The silent running jets is tier 3. So they are not tier 2, they are tier 3. Which I think is where they belong, to be honest. Tier strength. So Night Lords start off with a very good tier 1/tier 1.5. More or less similar to Chaos Marines. They have the ability to get sergeants / like what they call for Chaos champions in tier 1.5, which allows them to get plasma pistols right away, as well as power swords. So you can have very strong raptors or terror squads right off the get-go, especially with their good capping units. If these Raptor scouts early on, they can be very devastating. They also get good in tier 2, which is like for most factions true, because they have like the Havocs, they have a good spellcaster, they get some more commanders, but also vehicles, like a lot of different vehicles. They get a Rhino, the Razorback, the Dreadnought, 2 different flyers, so they can field a large assortment of different vehicles if the situation requires it, and also have like good spellcasters. I think the big kicker is also like the melter bombs. If you go for Raptors in normal Chaos, they kind of fall off pretty hard in tier 2. They can get some upgrades and whatnot, but they're not very good later on. Here you not only get like the melter bombs, you get in tier 3 also the silent running jets, which makes them permanently invisible. And what I want to tell you in the video is like you get the bionics, 2 levels of bionics, and this is like the talent of murder, it's called, which is kind of a bit different to purge the weak, but also gives you some HP bonuses. So your squads can become very tanky, which is very good for melee squads for the most part, because they can close the distance without dying as easily. So there you have like what makes them really strong in the tier 1 and 2 departments. Tier 3 is also good. It's more or less standard good-ish. You get 2 more different infantry Ryans, but also like in right away, and then later on with the Eclipse Portal also a bit later get another commander and some more vehicles. I kind of struggled with making them good in tier 3, but I haven't played them a whole lot, so maybe I do something wrong. You get a lot of different upgrades for your commanders as well. And yeah, they are not as good as other factions, let's say, in tier 4. Other factions have more options in tier 4. This is more like a bit like vanilla plus. You get a tier 4 vehicle in the Whirlwind, a relic unit, a tier 4 commander, and yeah, that's basically it. And then with your tier 1 Titan building, you get a Kratos, which is a very good unit. We have seen it can infiltrate and stuff. Very expensive though, and get tier 1 and tier 2 Titan. Yeah, so this is about the tier strengths. Quickly jumping over to the unit. If I have not done this here, that he gets out of control. So this I will add over here, like the little Berserk, if I have an icon for it. And other than that, yeah, it's pretty much as I said, that you can get in tier 1.5 the sergeants already, not in tier 2. And yeah, all the abilities over here are on the sergeants and require tier 2. The Blind Panic, the Swift Strike, and later on getting replaced by the different Orions over here. So this is all in the tech tree. The permanent infiltration is also in the tech tree. Yeah, so nothing special I haven't told you here. Lastly, quickly talking about the bonus units in survival, you get a Raptor, Scout Raptor, a Terror Claw in tier 2, Dreadnought in tier 3, a Predator in tier 4, and if you play on harder, you get also a second Land Raider Phobos. So they do not have any special abilities or weaponry enabled for them in the department over here. And I forgot, in tier 3 what makes them good is I think the Axe Master, because of the various different upgrades you can make good use of him in tier 3, which is something I should prioritize, I think, when I play them a bit more. Okay, with the tech trees out of the way, we now jump over to the build orders. And here we are in the build orders, which are also in the Google Drive. Quick explanation for you. Everything left and top from this line is something you can afford right away with your starting money, and everything right and down from it you want to or can add until you click the tier 2 button. And this is where like all the standard build orders go like out, because you have a lot of different options in tier 2, so you want to get what you need and not what you see here, basically. So there are too many options to show here. You see right away in the standard build order that you play genless for like most of it. This is because your starting capping units, the Raptor Scouts as well as your Furies, are very expensive with 150 and 160 revs respectively. So you cannot really afford to get a generator, in my opinion, because then you have too few units. This is more similar to a thing you can do for Chaos as well, where you get like 3 cultists in the Chaos Lord, but with that you would get a generator. Here you get the Chaos, the captain and stuff, and not a generator right away. You can then add, depending on the situation, Terror or a Raptor, and then get to tier 2 relatively quickly. So this is my standard, quote unquote, is to get a relatively well-timed tier 2. Then you have like this more heavy tier 1 kind of option where you get Terror Claws, very map dependent, as I said earlier. The Terror Claws, you can use them without the cover bonuses, but they are shine better with the cover bonuses, of course. You get 2 Capper units of your choice, a second builder later on. 2 Terror Squads right away, as you do not get generator. And you see here you can get the Armory and the Plasma Pistol Research, and then can get 2 Sergeants without the need of a generator. So you can get at least 2 sergeants and this without a generator, and then for your 3rd sergeant and some grenade upgrades you will need, however, a generator. So this is why you see here. So you then have 3 claws with plasma pistols. You can add, if you really want to, of course, a captain as well over here. Then you can open Raptors. Raptors here, I would prioritize that you get also the Raptor Scouts, because you will get some upgrades that also benefit them and their sergeant. So you get a Raptor, 2 squads over here, and then a captain, which, because it really works well with the Raptors to have another jumping squads. And then another Raptor, they get their sergeant from the armory over here, and then you would get the bionics and the power swords. The targeters also increase the damage of your melee squad, so you can also get, if you really like the targeters. But yeah, this allows you for good harassment and good fighting capabilities, very prolonged in tier 1 even. Then you have a Raptor Scout spam, which is very potent. You use your 2 early scouts to jump over immediately to your opponent to be absolutely nuisance, and your 2 other Raptor Scouts to cap in your base. So this is why you get your builder very late, and this is also a very economy based opener, because you can open with a generator, because you do not need any of these buildings over here. So you can get a generator and immediately also upgrade all your points you get. So this is a very economy kind of based opener. You will need to get a barracks or an armory later on, and depending on what you get, you can either add a captain or make your scouts better by giving them upgrades before then getting to tier 2. You can get both, but that gets kind of messy in the sense that you have an economy opener, which also kind of is slow in teching, then also added with a hard commitment in tier 1. So this is normally not a good idea, because any opponent that techs up and gets a vehicle will counter you pretty hard. Then of course you can tier rush, tier 2 rush, which is as the usual, as I said, very, very dangerous. Not sure why I get the Furies here. I think because they are not cheaper, are they? Maybe I should question why I get these Furies over here. Maybe they build a bit faster or something like that. And then you can even get early plasma pistols on your Scout Marines over here. So this is a very special opener that can also backfire pretty hard. So you get a second builder because you will get a generator, an armory and a barracks, because you need an armory and a barracks for your sergeants, and then you get the plasma pistol upgrade. And all this together would, without a generator, would not yield into plasma on the sergeants. Actually it would, but then you could not add more. Maybe I should revise this. Did you have only 2 squads with plasma pistols without a generator and add a generator later, but also get a third squad of raptors which can help you cap? Maybe this will be changed once you see it online. So, but this is, as I said, very peculiar to make it work, because you see you only have your scout raptors and not another unit. They will, the early plasma pistols will allow you 2 things. They will allow you to be absolutely nuisance to enemy squads. Not just capping squads, but also regular fighting squads. And the downside, of course, is like any commander will shut this down pretty hard. Because the Raptor Scouts are not meant to fight commanders, not in the slightest. They can peel off their very expensive models. And yeah, any commander getting countering this really hard. Not sure how good this works, for example, against Grey Knights and stuff like that. But yeah, I have this listed here as a possible opener. Maybe a bit differently here than you would see later on. Okay, I think this is now the build orders out of the way. Now I have a example replay. I asked for people to play Night Lords because I have seen some people be very good with Night Lords, and I'm not very good with Night Lords, but nobody replied. So you have to deal with a replay. I have here I face off against Grindon, and you know that Grindon is pretty good. So let's see how good I fare against him with the Night Lords. And here we are on the replay, where I play as the Night Lords against Grindon, you saw as the very yellow Space Marines. And this is a game where I use the Raptor Scout Spam. This is a map that is very good with it, because you can jump very quickly over, has a lot of points, so you can make use of the additional squads you have right away. So you can get here immediately reinforcing them so they can actually fight, sending them over, and you can see they're at like 30 seconds at the enemy base, a little slow on the part over here. You see a very peculiar opener for Grindon over here, going for like a tier rush, so going for scouts basically, so kind of similar to what I do, but with scouts. So we see now scouts against Raptor Scouts, and yeah, the scouts cannot fight scouts, Raptor Scouts very well. So yeah, so you cannot cap any points of his as easily. I tried to get the builders. Not sure if this was worth it, but I know that he wants to capture over here, so I jumped him over, so very mobile. He does the right thing, he comes over with his own scouts, so and he will be able to decap my stuff here as well. Should have stopped the capture or what, and now I want to attack them. Not sure, I think I clicked, but they do not attack in melee. They do of course more damage, but I'm also busy moving around units over here, so you see immediately that this is not a standard game. I will get 1 point over here, and yeah, I'm busy microing, so that I'm not microing them here. So this is a mistake on my part. As I said, I'm not very good, especially with this kind of taxing games over here. So I can now jump over and try to get this point, or try to attack those scouts over here. Will maybe kill a model or two. And there are some nasty scouts again on this side, so this is kind of annoying. And otherwise I'm trying to cap and decap over here, get the decap over here, which is nice. And yeah, you see that the issue is that I'm quite floating a lot of resources, as I do not have a barracks or anything, so I want to add another Raptor Scout here, just to have more bodies, I guess. But he is able to get 1 point up as well. I immediately upgrade this point as I have a lot of resources, especially power lying around, so I upgraded it immediately. Maybe I should have prioritized the outer points first, but yeah. Not sure. Hindsight 2020, trying to get a generator with these scores because I do not think I can do anything more useful. Jokes on me, there is something more useful. In the sense of, yeah. This is more of a thing that my micro isn't the greatest, so I try to prioritize stuff that do not taxes my micro as much as I'm trying to get stuff done in my base as well. Yeah, at some point I want to get the what shall I call it? The barracks, storm barracks, but yeah, for now I get all my resources into listening post. This listening post is upgrade, so I cannot fight here anymore, so I jump out. This point is sadly up because I wasn't decapping it and it's probably also being upgraded, so there are now some positions I cannot target. Do I get to the... That's sad. I should have attacked, yeah, the scouts over here. So even Grindon is losing some models against this. And am I here? And now there's something I do not really like. My Raptor scouts in particular are some snipers, and these snipers are really mean. So this is now the big upside these scouts have against the Raptor scouts is their snipers. So I will not be able to harass anymore because wherever there are scouts with snipers or listening posts, I will lose models very quickly. I can try to harass a bit, I can try to get the middle and stuff like that, but yeah, other than that, it's pretty hard for me to get any foot on the map. I also do not have all of my points because my micro slipped up, you see here. Not the best, and yeah, losing more models while attacking a listening post is not really nice. You see the heavy tier 1 investment isn't the greatest. I can, however, hide in the cover over here. This is one thing this map has, is some big cover sites over here. I think I noticed this over here. Yeah, so I'm getting inside here, not losing another model. Can also stay here, but only can use my bolt pistols over here. Will be enough to kill a model or two. So this is what I'm using them for right now. Getting another Archmakers is as I need to get my storm barracks up. There's some snipers here trying to do this, and I'm doing the wrong stuff, getting them in piecemeal. I should have waited until another Archmakers is out so they can build this up. So you see these snipers actually not killing infantry low very quickly, so this is probably by design. There was something, and my storm barracks is now up, so I can get to tier 2 and get the captain. I should have prioritized tier 2 hindsight 2020. I want to have the captain, so the captain, because commanders is something that can deal with these snipers here. I should not engage over here. I should not engage over here and lose more models, so this is kind of sad to see. I could have saved more Raptors for a later point in time, because I now have only this squad and the captain soonish, and yeah, so my tier 2 is very late in the sense they will now capture safely the middle point, even yeah, these scouts covering these. And I want to get with my captain over here, you can see it here. Should click the tier 2 button now. There we go. As I said, if I haven't gotten the captain, I could have gotten the tier 2 a bit earlier. Not sure if this would be the right move or not, because for now I can only sit back. And yeah, I think a faster tier 2 would be better, because I cannot do stuff until I'm tier 2. Apart from doing a bit of stuff with the captain over here. The captain itself is pretty good. And yeah, can use the cover, can use his very potent bolt pistol. Even against sniper scouts. So the captain is what allows me to stay here, because these snipers, sorry, scouts are very expensive, to say the least. So I can even, there's a little thing I try to do here, which is something you can use for yourself on this map. Not sure when I'm trying to get him shooting while in cover. You see here, there's one little spot where you can do it. Now you can shoot it, and I'm still in cover, but yeah, now I'm getting detected. And if you click the manually target the listening post, you can fire back. You will see it here in a second. Grinder knows this as well. You see here, manually targeted. This is how you can kind of deal with it, but also very nice to know that there is a very small spot, at least on here. I haven't tested on the other side. This looks also doable. Here and here I'm not so sure, but this is a little thing you can use it. It's also something I wanted to show here. Tier 2 is now finished. I will get a Forge of Terror here, the vehicle production building. Also get Archmakers, and we'll probably get I'm not sure what I will get. The vehicle cap increase. Something I totally forgot, which will bite me in the arse here. This is a bad attempt to decap. I wanted to decap to get a take and hold counter gone. But yeah, he moves immediately in with all his snipers here, and I should have done it on a different time when I have some more cover over here. You see, it was very close. And yeah, not possible over here. Getting now the vehicle cap increase, will get a Razorback. And something I totally forgot was that you need the armory for the Razorback special weapons. So this would be something very important, because I will see soon that there is a machine gold. So as I see the machine gold, I should have added a armory. So I have some Razorbacks on the field to do stuff. What I do instead is get a tier 3. For whatever reason I thought tier 3 would be a nice idea. So this is a big downside. And you see here now I thought, yeah, let's get some melters. Oh, shoot. And he can get crack missiles, already has some crack missiles. Will use the skull probe to stun the Razorback, and this is now sitting duck getting attacked by crack missiles left, right and center. I will get some damage done with my captain, but still, this was very bad to say the least. Now getting some Havocs. Havocs also need an armory to get their special weapons, but they can get very long range missile launchers for the job. Even autocannons, not sure. I think I go for missile launchers and should have gotten less cannons. Captain taking a hell of a lot of damage, and I wanted to decap with the Furies, and again they get killed too quickly. Havocs over here are now out, and Havocs should get, yeah, getting the missile launchers over here. Getting another Havoc squad, getting, what do I get here? Yeah, the tier 3. And yeah, now in comes the land speeders over here, and I can use the Havocs in cover with the missile launchers to be very helpful over here. Getting also Talent of Murder, we can see it here. Gains increased health for all squadmen, increasing morale damage output against enemy units. So very good against morale again. But you know what does not have morale? Land Speeder Tempest. In comes the first missiles, he sees it, and this makes playing against a good player so annoying that he will always save his units. So yeah, I need to get into cover. I will also kill this skull probe in the meantime. Ten of Murder is out. There's the sergeant, so you will see as soon as this is researched, you have this little aura around. Oh, that's the captain, not the sergeant. Sorry about that. So you will need the sergeant to get the bonuses from it. At that time tier 3 I get a Predator, because I think Predator is really nice. Hindsight 2020, what I should have gone here is the Eclipse Portal right away and get Obliterators and the Demon Prince Ascension. Not Possessed Marines, not a Predator. So if you are in this situation, do not as I do. You can here can see again why the Havocs are so good. You can safely sit in the heavy cover while attacking this listening post. All the while I still have this like 3 minutes counter here. So there was like one model not in cover getting killed. All the others are. Rebuilding the point over here, so this more or less a split map situation. But I'm not doing a whole lot in the sense of getting economy boosts. I spent all I have, as I said, not on the best units. Driving in with the Predator, showing it alone. And you remember what he has? Yeah, a crap ton of Landspeeder Tempest. Landspeeder Tempest will shoot here, but I think it can barely drive away. We'll get one Landspeeder Tempest, maybe. Not even one. Trying to move in with the Possessed Marines to cap this and immediately getting shredded down. So this is again bad on my part. Like Obliterators. There's even some Devastators now. Let's say if I had a Predator and an Obliterator instead of now the second Predator that can be stunned. Let's say I do not get a Predator, but let's say Obliterators and a Demon Prince. Demon Prince would have been absolutely amazing, can tank stuff while another unit can try to capture this critical location. So some lessons are to be learned here. Generally, it's really important to watch your own replays. More so your losses than your wins, actually. To learn from it. So this is now just me trying to get something done, but we can just quickly see his army size and economy and my army size and economy. So this is a losing game. I know that. I still want to try to get the take and hold counter off, but yeah, what squad would really be able to get like Tarot Claws, because I cannot afford more. Yeah, and there's even, you see him. Grinner is just so good. Skull Probe, stun, and now he can just kill this. He will take some shots from the Havocs, but Havocs only having his few models, even microing down back to units that are about to die. Will get some twin glass cannon, but this only has 500 HP left, so yeah, the last hurrah will be the try to decap here, because I think you need about 20 seconds to decap. 50 to 20 seconds to decap, so do I even try? I do not think they will get through, so he does the right thing, kept camping this point in the middle. I have won vanilla games where I camped this point in the middle as IG and was like, yeah, take and hold is also a victory condition, right? And this is it. I say lol and GG's, and yeah, GG's it is. Very potent, these snipers with Devastators in the middle with some anti-vehicle land speeders over here. As I said, what I would have needed here was not to get my units killed in piecemeal here, trying to decap is. Be calm, get some, get a Eclipse Portal, get Obliterators, get Demon Hood Ascension research. I still had my captain around all this time. He could have jumped in with, or not even jumped in, just used the Demon Hood Ascension, then jumped in. These all units would focus down him, and one unit could try to decapture this point. And then I maybe would have had a chance, but yeah, given that Grinnin is quite a good player, probably not so much. But okay, if you have some better Night Lords replays, please send it to me. I'm very interested to see some Night Lord plays from you guys. Okay, so this sums up now the guide for the Night Lords. If I have said anything wrong or you want to add something, please leave it in the comments. I forgot what is next, but I think it would be Renegade Guard. But this will take some time to get everything put together. I have prepared some stuff already. Maybe it's not as long, but yeah, the Renegade Guard should be next on the list here. Tekan Shogunate to be more special, more precise, because they have Direction Militia and the Tekan Shogunate, and I will do it the same way as I did for the Demon Hunters. I will make 2 guide videos, and especially for the Renegade Guard, this is I think very, very good, because they have quite a lot of stuff I want to share, cover. Okay, without further ado, thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!